There's a certain type of man who doesn't have to speak loudly to be heard. He doesn't chase attention, and he doesn't follow the crowd. Yet somehow when he enters a room, heads turn. People feel something, an energy, a presence, a kind of pull they can't explain. It's not about looks, fame, or wealth. It's something deeper. This is the aura of a Sigma male. But what is an aura, really? It's not magic or mystery. It's the way someone carries themselves. It's the silent message they send by how they move, how they think, and how they act. It's the energy people feel before a word is ever spoken. And when a man has the right mix of presence, purpose, and peace, his aura becomes impossible to ignore. The Sigma male is different from the rest. He doesn't try to lead like the alpha, and he doesn't follow like the beta. He walks his own paths, alone if necessary. He's not loud, but he's not invisible either. He's noticed for his depth, his calm, and the way he stands apart from the crowd. What makes this kind of man so magnetic? Why are people, especially women, drawn to him even if they don't fully understand why? It's because his aura carries power, peace, and mystery all at once. And those three things together are rare. In a world full of noise, a Sigma's silence speaks the loudest. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't about tricks or fake confidence. This is about presence. Real, grounded presence. The kind that comes from within and doesn't need anyone's approval to feel whole. That's the foundation of an irresistible aura. And the Sigma male has it mastered. In this video, we're going to break down 6 key reasons why a Sigma male has this rare and powerful presence. We'll go deep into the mindset, the behaviors, and the energy that make him unforgettable. This isn't theory. This is something you've seen before, maybe even felt. And by the time we're done, you'll understand exactly what makes the Sigma aura so impossible to resist. Let's begin. Reason number 1. Quiet confidence that speaks volumes. Confidence is one of the most attractive traits in any person. But there's a huge difference between loud confidence and quiet confidence. Loud confidence brags, shows off, and demands attention. It's often insecure underneath. Quiet confidence doesn't need to prove anything. It just exists. Strong, calm, and steady. This is the kind of confidence a Sigma male carries. He doesn't need to be the center of attention to feel important. He doesn't need applause or praise to feel secure. His confidence isn't based on what others think. It's based on what he knows about himself. That creates a kind of mystery. People see him and wonder, why is he so calm? Or, what does he know that I don't? That quiet confidence pulls people in without a single word. It's not loud, but it's impossible to miss. In a world where so many are shouting to be seen, the Sigma's calm presence stands out even more. It's like walking into a noisy room and suddenly noticing the one person who isn't trying to be noticed. That kind of contrast is powerful. It invites curiosity. And it's not just about silence. It's about control. The Sigma male controls his emotions, his reactions, and his focus. That control shows strength. Not the kind that needs to dominate others, but the kind that says, I'm good, with or without you. People are drawn to that. They feel more secure around someone who doesn't get rattled. They want to understand him. They want to be near that peace. And sometimes they want to be part of that confidence, just by association. Quiet confidence also means the Sigma doesn't waste time proving himself. He lets his actions speak. He listens more than he talks. And when he does speak, people pay attention, because they know it's going to mean something. This type of presence doesn't need a spotlight. It creates its own. And that's why the Sigma male's quiet confidence becomes a magnetic force that pulls people in without effort. Reason number 2, authenticity over pretense. One of the rarest qualities in today's world is authenticity. Everywhere you look, people are trying to be something they're not. They put on masks to fit in, to be liked, or to get attention. But the Sigma male doesn't play that game. He's real, and people can feel it. He doesn't try to impress. He doesn't change based on who's watching. He doesn't pretend to care about things he doesn't. This kind of honesty is powerful because most people are used to fake energy. When someone truly means what they say and lives by it, it cuts through all the noise. That's what makes the Sigma male different. He lives by his own values, not by trends or social pressure. He knows who he is, and he's not afraid to show it. That doesn't mean he's rude or selfish. It just means he's centered. He doesn't shape-shift to fit the room. The room adjusts to him. Authenticity builds trust. People can relax around someone who's not trying to sell them anything. There's no hidden agenda. What you see is what you get. That makes the Sigma male easy to be around, even if he's not saying much. His energy speaks for him. This realness is also attractive because it shows strength. It takes courage to be yourself, especially when the world expects you to conform. Most people are afraid to stand out. The Sigma male is not. And that alone makes others want to follow him, even if he's not trying to lead. Another part of his authenticity is consistency. He doesn't act one way today and another way tomorrow. He doesn't smile in your face and talk behind your back. He's solid, reliable. What he believes, he lives. And that integrity builds respect. When someone walks in truth, they light up the room in a way that's impossible to fake. That's the power of the Sigma male's aura. It doesn't shout for attention. It just is. And that realness makes him unforgettable. Reason number 3, deep introspection and inner world. The Sigma male has something most people don't even think about, a rich, developed inner world. While others are distracted by noise, trends, and constant stimulation, the Sigma spends time reflecting, thinking, and exploring his own mind. That inner depth becomes a big part of his outer presence. People can feel when someone has substance. It comes through in the way they speak, the way they pause before answering, the way they carry themselves without needing to fill every moment with noise. The Sigma male doesn't need to be entertained because his thoughts are already interesting enough. That self-awareness gives his presence a sense of weight. This kind of man doesn't just know what he wants, he understands why. He has spent time thinking about his values, his purpose, and what really matters to him. That kind of clarity creates a calm, grounded energy that stands out in a world full of uncertainty. When someone with a strong inner world enters the room, the difference is obvious. He doesn't need approval because he already knows his worth. He doesn't need to dominate the conversation because he's confident in his own silence. That kind of centered energy is rare, and it draws people in. Most people spend their energy reacting to the world. The Sigma male doesn't. He responds from a deeper place. He processes emotions, challenges, and situations quietly and fully. That reflection becomes part of his aura. It adds layers to his presence that most people don't even understand, but they feel it. This depth also makes him more engaging when he does speak. His thoughts are considered, his views are original, and his words carry meaning. People remember what he says not because he talks more, but because he talks with purpose. It also makes people curious. They want to know what he's thinking. They wonder what his life is like. They feel like there's more to discover, and that mystery becomes part of the attraction. The Sigma male doesn't build his power by showing off. He builds it by knowing himself. And that quiet understanding radiates outward, becoming one of the strongest parts of his aura. Reason number 4. Emotional stability and self-mastery. One of the rarest and most respected traits in any person is emotional control. In a world full of overreaction and emotional chaos, the Sigma male stands out. He doesn't get pulled into drama. He doesn't lose himself in anger, fear, or insecurity. He stays steady even when things get intense. This doesn't mean he ignores emotion. It means he understands it. He feels deeply, but he doesn't let his feelings control him. That kind of balance creates a powerful presence. People feel safe around him because he's not unpredictable. He doesn't snap, panic, or explode. He thinks before he acts. Emotional stability is rare, and people instinctively trust those who have it. The Sigma male can walk into a stressful situation and bring calm just by being there. He doesn't need to raise his voice or take control. His energy does it for him. That kind of self-mastery is attractive because it signals strength. Not physical strength, but inner strength. It tells people, I've faced myself. I've done the work. I'm not ruled by what's happening outside of me. And that message is deeply attractive, especially to those who are tired of emotional games and instability. Toxic people don't last long around the Sigma male. They can't hook him emotionally. He doesn't bite when baited. He doesn't respond with drama. And he doesn't fall into guilt traps or power plays. That kind of restraint makes his presence even stronger. Even in conflict, the Sigma remains clear. He listens, speaks calmly, and keeps his cool. That gives him the upper hand without ever being aggressive. He doesn't need to win arguments. His control wins people over without a fight. This emotional discipline is something many people want, but few develop. That's why it stands out so much when someone has it. It shows a level of maturity and growth that's both comforting and magnetic. The Sigma male's calm isn't an act. It's real. And it creates an atmosphere that others are drawn to, whether they understand why or not. Reason number 5. Strategic silence and presence. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. They rush to fill it with words, noise, or distraction. But the Sigma male isn't afraid of silence. In fact, he uses it. He knows that silence has power, and when used well, it can say more than any speech ever could. When the Sigma male is in a room, he doesn't speak unless he has something worth saying. He doesn't compete for attention. He doesn't chase approval. He just exists with full presence. And that simple presence has weight. People feel it, even if he hasn't said a word. This kind of man doesn't talk to impress. He speaks to connect or to deliver meaning. That gives his words more impact. When someone is quiet most of the time, people listen when they do speak. That contrast creates focus. It makes people lean in. But it's not just about being quiet. It's about being observant. The Sigma male watches people. He studies situations. He sees things others miss. That awareness makes him more effective, and it adds to his presence. Strategic silence also means he doesn't get pulled into every debate, every drama, or every opportunity to prove something. He knows that real power doesn't need to be announced. It's felt. And often, saying less keeps others guessing and thinking. People are drawn to mystery. They're drawn to people who seem to know something they don't. And silence creates that effect naturally. It invites curiosity. It makes people wonder what you're thinking, how you feel, or what you'll do next. The Sigma male uses silence to create space, space for thought, space for strength, and space for mystery. That space becomes part of his aura. It sets him apart from the noise around him. In the end, it's not just about saying less. It's about making every moment more meaningful. That's the true power of presence. And that's why the Sigma male doesn't need to speak loudly to be unforgettable. Reason number 6, freedom and independence. Radiated, the Sigma male doesn't belong to anyone. He isn't defined by a group, a role, or a title. He lives by his own rules, makes his own decisions, and moves through life without needing permission. That independence is not only rare, it's deeply attractive. Most people are tied to something. They want to fit in, to be accepted, to follow what others say or do. But the Sigma male stands apart. He's free. And people can feel that freedom the moment he walks in. This kind of man doesn't need validation to act. He doesn't ask what others think before making a move. He doesn't fear being alone because he's at peace with himself. That sense of self-ownership gives him power most people never find. And it's not just physical freedom. It's mental and emotional freedom too. He doesn't carry emotional baggage that weighs him down. He doesn't carry resentment, jealousy, or insecurity. His mind is clear because he's not trying to be someone else or live someone else's life. That energy is powerful because it's rare. When someone is truly free, they become a mirror for others. They show what's possible. They make people question their own limits. And they spark attraction, not because they're trying, but because they're living in a way most people only dream of. Independence also creates respect. People trust someone who doesn't need them. They're more drawn to someone who chooses them freely, not out of pressure or need. The Sigma male chooses his relationships, his friends, and his actions with intention. That clarity is magnetic. And it's not about being distant or disconnected. The Sigma is fully present. He connects deeply when he chooses to. But he never sacrifices himself to do it. That balance, connection without dependency, is rare. And it's what makes his aura feel untouchable. In the end, the Sigma male radiates something that can't be faked: freedom. The kind that comes from self-knowledge, self-respect, and a complete lack of fear about walking alone. That freedom draws others in, not because he needs them, but because they need what he already has. By now you've seen the deeper layers behind the Sigma male's presence. It's not a trick. It's not about games. It's about who he is when no one's watching, and how that truth shapes every part of his energy. His quiet confidence makes him stand out without trying. His authenticity breaks through the noise of fake personalities. His deep inner world gives him substance. His emotional stability keeps him grounded. His silence commands attention. And his independence speaks louder than any words could. This is why his aura is so irresistible. It's built on truth. It's lived in peace. And it's shaped by values that don't change based on outside pressure. The Sigma male doesn't chase anything. He doesn't need to. People come to him because of how he lives, how he moves, and how he makes them feel without saying much at all. So the real question is this: what kind of aura are you building? Are you living in alignment with your own values? Are you grounded in who you are? Are you walking your path with quiet confidence, or still seeking something outside to complete you? These are the questions that matter. Not because you need to be a Sigma, but because the energy you carry is shaping how the world sees you every day. If this video gave you something to think about, drop a comment. Share the part that hit home for you. And if you're on your own journey to becoming more independent, more grounded, and more intentional, keep going. In a world full of noise, distraction, and pressure, the most powerful thing you can be is real. That's what gives you presence. That's what gives you peace. And that's what builds an aura no one can ignore.